So today we have Gabrielle, Therese, and John. So they are the co-founders of Momentom Collective. And they are actually going to talk about the benefits of merging arts and entrepreneurship. And they are also going to talk about the future for the creative nomad. So I'm just going to introduce you very, very briefly. So Momentom is a collective of circus artists, yoga teachers, and creative entrepreneurs that are redefining what's possible through art. Co-founders John, Therese, and Gabrielle have opened artist residencies worldwide that combine co-work spaces with professional training spaces, trailblazing the nomadic movement, inspiring the millennial generation to take action in creating their own reality. Momentum trains mind and body before delving into business.
Yeah.
Wow. And I think the best way to really understand what they do is actually to show a video. So, Ryan, please.
We invite those that wish to thrive, those who feel truly alive, to take their flight into a new way of life. You see, what we represent is a new paradigm, where we're no longer bound to stay stuck on the ground, but instead, we each learn to fly. We are the curious that are redefining circus. We are working as one to bring your passion to the surface. For us, this isn't a phase or a fad. These are the days of the digital nomad, redefining what's real so we can collectively heal. We express flow arts through our bodies and minds. We ignite a fire that gives sight to the blind, then we spin it around so that others will find. We call to all those who are sick of being tired, to imagine a new life where every day you are inspired, to imagine a new tribe where every day you are admired, and as you keep on flying to greater heights you are aspired. We speak our truth loud, and of this fact we're proud. We create unity through our community, a space where you and me find opportunities to really remember how to set ourselves free and find some space to just breathe. You are not just a student but a master too. We shine a light revealing the truth that there's a guru within you. We're misfits and freaks don't fit into the norm. We're people that seek the strength to ride any storm. We stay true to our heart and give others the boost that they need to just start. So if these words and sights ignite and excite you, well then, the path has been paved especially for you. Just take the leap, let your fire fuel you, step into your power, step into a new you. Welcome to Momentom Collective.
So before we dive into what you do and how you came up with that, could you please introduce yourself? Tell us where you're from, what's your role with Momentom, and maybe what were you doing before creating Momentom? So who wants to start?
Want me to go first? Okay. So I'm Gabrielle, and I come from Quebec too, from Sept-Îles. It's like way up north. I guess if I were to explain myself, I would say my passion first. I'm an acro yogi, a yogi. I love the circus. My whole family's in the circus. And I come from a lineage of like the conventional, right? Like doing the school, doing the masters. And then I worked for the United Nations for about 3-4 years until I realized that the money wasn't really the passion. And I also realized that the system was really fucked up and wasn't really what was defined to me in school. So I got out, and then basically I found yoga, found my own way of breathing, found a way of like connecting with myself, and started a business when I was about 27, like my Saturn return, with this little lady and with Johnny who came in afterwards. So I guess that would be in a nutshell. That's how I would define myself.
Okay. What about you?
Yes, so I'm from Australia. in Australia, I was an interior designer, and I was working in corporate design, so I was doing a lot of like workspaces. It was really interesting that it's come back to co-working spaces, because we were always working in like shared offices and working with like a lot of media agencies who were looking at like agile workplaces and these kinds of shifts. For me, there was still like I was working for a boutique agency, and I was like, you know, in the studio until like 2 a.m. and then I was like in there again at 8 a.m. So the lifestyle was kind of out of balance. Also, all of my creative energy was going into maybe not like the cleanest ideals or the most aligned ideals. So like a lot of like money, like fast solutions that weren't like about longevity or sustainability, or maybe just like the money wasn't going in the right place. So I just wanted to rethink what that was, and I took myself away from that environment, and I went to the volcanoes, and I lived in a volcano in Nicaragua, and shortly after I met Gab. I was just like, I think this about the world, I think this about the world, and I'm like, okay, let's
Let's
something
move in
about
together.
it. That's it.
My name's John, and I came in from definitely the traveler nomad festival and manager type side instead of coming in from the circus background. And I've been traveling for 11 years. Right after my business degree that I finished in France was kind of like, that was a lot of work. All right, great, done with that. Now I'm ready to do things I want to do. And it ended up being not like a long plan to travel for that long or to end up writing a book on the process, which I've got here on being a nomad. But just finding as many things as I could to keep me sustained in another year of travel. What else can I find? What other passion projects can I find that fuel my fire to keep traveling and keep living this lifestyle that I feel like I'm benefiting so much from? I really felt like I learned more traveling than I did in school. And so I ended up doing random jobs, from working across Canada on Olympic Torch Relay, tour manager for Nintendo, working on a cruise ship in the Caribbean, worked for a paintball company in Australia, adventure travel company in Thailand and Nicaragua, where I ended up meeting Gab, leading a trip that I was running down from Nicaragua to Costa Rica to Envision Festival. And then that sparked some things in the very early phases of Momentom. And so now I've been brought on board, and it's just kind of like, where else can we take this? And it's a really exciting time to be involved, especially with these two powerhouse women that seem to keep pushing for the stars. So.
Nice. So you all met in Nicaragua. Can you tell us what happened? How did you form your trio? How did you agree that, you know what, guys, we should do something together, and this is going to be Momentum? What happened?
Me? So yeah, I quit my job, went to Nicaragua, did the yoga teacher training, and then a friend of ours or mine told me about this girl, Therese, that like she was this beautiful aerialist. I was like, wait, she's in the circus? Wait, what? So then I ended up meeting her, and she and I just started like talking about yoga and circus and how they were really aligned together, where one was more introspection, the other one was more about like how to perform and how to express yourselves. Like there was somebody that said, if yoga is the eradication of the self, circus is the expression of all yourselves. And it really stuck, and we just started talking, and it just became a thing where we're like, this is so cool. And we just lived together, and a few things unfolded to that because we started attracting both yogis and circus artists, and then it just ended up being a beautiful ecosystem. Mm-hmm. Whereas with Johnny, that we didn't meet in Nicaragua, we met in Costa Rica.
Right.
It was my
first
own
Nicaragua then.
Yeah. But it was like the first time I ever went to a festival, and he was leading a large group of people in a festival, and I was like, wow, who is this person who is able to hypnotize so many people to follow him into this festival? And I was just like really admired Johnny, really, really admired. And I realized that the one thing that is one of the most important things in circus arts is the MC, is the person in between the acts. And that's why I was like, this is incredible. And it just ended up forming a really beautiful dynamic together where we're three pillars that kind of lift the whole thing. And without one another, we can't work together. So also the fact that we're kind of crazy in the visions, and not many people have these visions too. So that's the way I would explain it. But I don't know if you guys would explain it either way.
I think you nailed it.
There you go. That's how we met.
So what did you see see that was missing in the world for you to create Momentom?
Want to do this one?
I think it was the balanced lifestyle. Like we all came from different backgrounds. Like Gab at the UN, and Johnny from like this travel background. It's like these are, you know, it's seeing the things that we're lacking when it's like, okay, we're driven by money or we're driven by like an idea of how the world should be, and maybe it's like maybe there's a bit of veiling or an illusion that's going on there. And then like for me, it's definitely the lifestyle balance of like time and being able to travel, and like how do we create a lifestyle that is sustainable for us to keep doing all of these things and do it every day and to do it with passion.
And what was missing in the world, I think a lot of people take things too seriously. And yoga, I mean, acro yoga and circus in general is just about having fun. And it's like really the basis of any community. If you look at any circus arts, it's about community and it's about having fun. So that was that. And also, I think we all understand that in order to create the external world that we want and envision in our minds, we first have to go inside. So you can't do anything on the outside world without understanding the power of your own mind and spirit. So I think that's what was missing in the world, because nobody talked about consciousness in society at all, ever. So, and if you did, you were a hippie and you just kind of disregarded it. Whereas now we understand that masterminds and thought leaders of our times, especially in our generation, understand that there's a magic of going inwards before the outside.
Yeah.
So
I think it was someone in Nicaragua who actually brought this to my attention one day. They said, you know, I love what you guys are doing, and the reason is we have so many people coming down here, so many people leading retreats, but all they do is they go off into their retreat center and they go and they do their yoga and they do their meditation, and then they go back home. And there's no integration, but it's like we actually see you like projecting, expressing yourself, and it's those seeds that are spread that makes a difference.
Yeah. For me, the things that I found that were missing that really drew me to Momentom and to these two was, I mean, when the time when we met, I was on about 10 years of travel and leading a lot of adventure travel trips for different companies, which end up being party trips. You know, when you're dealing with people in their 20s that are traveling the world, they're, oh, all right, let's go out. Even though doing surfing and stuff during the day, let's go out and party. And so I was looking for something a little more sustainable than that. Hostel life and hostel culture is amazing. It's a great community, but it's really centered around drinking and centered around some of the same questions and stuff. And yet I found this was this beautiful merge of yoga and circus fused together. What a smart thing to have. They're both similar with gymnastics and these different things, but then also the spirituality and the mentality kind of tucked in with that, wrapped with people that are looking for that space, like myself, to write a book or to do some online writing or some blogging. You need more sustainability there. You need something like a festival, same sort of thing. I see Momentom as a sustainable festival culture where you've got the art, you've got the spirituality, you've got the workshops, but then you've got some parties too, don't get me wrong, but then where do you have something that's not just burning yourself out after 4 days or answering the same questions in a hostel or traveling? Even co-work spaces sometimes have that dry, you know, you need some sort of a mix. And for me, Momentom is really serving this balance of creative ideas flowing around, great topics and discussions, and the end point was the people that it drew in. You're getting these people that, I mean, just like traveling, the people make the places. Good places keep good people. And the people that seem to be drawn into Momentom were open to spirituality. They were open to discussing big, crazy topics the first hour that you meet them. They were open to doing any type of workshops, from water tai chi to contact improv dance to throwing a great party and dressing up and having that festival culture, whether there's alcohol or not, or whether there's, you know. So it was that beautiful mix. And plus, you know, you see something like aerial silks or Lyra or acro yoga, and you're just like, wow, I want to do that. So that's kind of what looped me in, and what I've found to be the powerful missing factor as a traveler and also for a young woman.
Great. So tell us about how you fill that gap. What do you do at Momentom to allow people to be more conscious, to be more in touch with their soul, to be more spiritual, and so on and so on? Well, what do you do?
it is. So basically at Momentom, whether it's Indonesia, Guatemala, Nicaragua, thinking of going into Portugal, there's always going to be a schedule where it's meditation in the morning, yoga, some kind of movement, and then the afternoons are meant for you to do co-working. So you work on your business, and when you're surrounded with a lot of artists and people that prioritize consciousness, you're going to be in class at 7 o'clock in the morning. Everybody's up meditating at 7 o'clock in the morning. And then when you're in that field and that vibration, and then you go into work, you're now discussing ideas that are unconventional, and that you're able to like tap into different ways of looking at business in general. So how do we do it? We have a schedule that's the same everywhere. And then we have, good speed internet. There was one location that we didn't, but now it's good speed internet.
Third world countries can be tough for a lot of factors.
Sometimes.
We'll get into that later.
But and then having aerials in every single one of our residencies. We do like to really emphasize aerial silks and acro yoga, but we do have a bunch of different stuff. So, yeah.
And that's the same thing every day?
It's during the week.
For 3 weeks, for 2 months?
No, we have 3 months at each residency.
Mm-hmm.
And then during the weekends, it's off so that people go travel
Mm-hmm.
and do their own thing. But during the week, yes, it's meditation, yoga, movement, co-working, and then aerial silks at night.
And you said when we spoke that you also invite speakers?
Yes. Yeah. So then this year we're like, okay, so instead of just providing a co-working spot, why don't we, like what you're doing, invite people that have done something.
I would love to be invited.
Come in the media.
So we invite people that inspire us in the way that they've done their things, their business. So one of them, my phone's ringing. One of our inspiration was like Jewel Schrouder from Unconventional Life. We brought her in, and then she would discuss how she did her business. And so she discusses in the afternoon, and people can show up to listen to it. Yeah.
I think another big factor that that really ignited me and is part of some of the magic is that it's a community. It's not just a retreat where there's one guru telling everybody what to do and doing that. It's very much a circle of creation, inviting people to participate. You know, it's kind of like that Burning Man culture mentality where there are no spectators. We want to invite everyone to be present and add their input. And even, you know, after some time to be like, hey, would you like to lead a class? Or would you like to kind of invite that mentality of like, we're all both students and teachers in the same setting, and to engage in discussion like that as well. And I found that to be really powerful, to really lift up people and to turn them into leaders in their own passion and find ways to ignite them. And through that, we've had such a variety of classes that we could never plan for. Yeah, like someone that was able to teach water Tai Chi, or we've had people coming in and leading breath work, and these things
Burlesque.
that, you know, burlesque dance and burlesque hoop, and like, we've had such a variety of things that like, you can't plan for that, but there's these little skills, and sometimes it takes a person a week or two being in residence for them to pop up, and all of a sudden there's like these little gold mines. You're like, what's your passion? Oh man, like let's do that. Can you teach us that? Let's go with that.
Yeah.
It's very much like
clowning,
dancing
miming,
in the moment, and
yeah.
I think that's a great example as well for entrepreneurs, because at the end of the day, that's what entrepreneurs are supposed to be able to do. So.
For sure.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's definitely a thing like to fill the gap. What we did see is that what Johnny was saying before, entrepreneurs sometimes, like we all know what it's like to have our own businesses. Like we start and we just don't stop. It's like on the computer, ideas, talking, but then what we notice is that if you step out of your work and you go and do a yoga class, you go do an aerial class, you go do something that's more fun and like, you know, you come back and you're even more effective in your business. And then the same thing, it's good to do your art and be really, really, really good at your art. But if you don't start thinking about the sustainability of how to make your art for the future, you're just having fun now, but in 20 years from now, it's not going to be. So arts and entrepreneurship actually go together. They actually uplift one another. So by bridging that, that's one of the ways that we think that, you know, has been one of the reasons for the success of the residencies, for sure.
And you do welcome any kind of entrepreneurs, like any business, industry, background. They don't have to be artists, right? No, it can be, we ask for intentions when they apply, because we do like to contain the energy. Mm-hmm.
But the intention, if there's any desire or curiosity for consciousness or self-transcendence or just art in general, and we have spaces for all types of entrepreneurs, for sure.
So what's the process to be part of that? So there is an application process. How many people do you take every week, every 3 months?
So we're open on the length of stay. We have some residents who will come in for, just a couple of days, through to like 3 months. They might stay with us. So it really depends on their business. If they're running like their own like kind of thriving business, it makes sense for them to stay longer because they're earning money while they're there, right? While they're training and surfing and enjoying the country that we're in. But other people, they have like another job back home and they can only spare a week. So we have usually like 25 to 30 residents in-house, but the times are crossing over. And the application, they go onto our website, they choose their location, they pop in all their details, their intentions, anything that they're working on specifically, what they think they can bring to the community as well. And then we start the process from there.
I think the application is really powerful too. Again, it comes down to intention for anything. And when even just asking someone, what's your intention for this? What would you like to get out of it? Just like how we started today, it will shift how you approach things. It will shift how you receive and accept information or be a part of something. And even that's why we're implementing like weekly check-ins. Like, what was your intention when you came here? How is that going? What are you looking for this next week? What's your passion this week for like this like. And those daily check-ins can go so far for an entrepreneur, for an artist, for just a person looking to progress in their own personal transcendence. So I think having that as part of the application is almost weeds people out in their own right, or just weeds out how they would be, when they're present there. People might take the same person, put them in a party hostel or in a different co-work space. They'll either be drinking and partying, or they'll be working only on their project and they're not doing any yoga. Or then with us, they're kind of finding that balance of the art and entrepreneurship and finding that creative movement that will then fuel more creative movement in their minds.
Yeah, typically by the time we receive an email from someone, we've filtered out. We've targeted exactly what we're looking for.
Because a lot of people see an application and like, no. And then
how bad
Or they read language like
well,
transcendence or like spirituality, and it's like, so some people are like, yes, that's me, and that's who we receive the application.
And that's why there's like really high vibration beings that come through, because they've resonated with the application,
and they're engaged.
They're totally engaged.
Absolutely,
That would make a difference.
That's a big part. The word artist residency will turn some people off, thinking like, oh, I'm not an artist, I shouldn't be applying, this isn't for me. But we keep reminding them, no, we just ask that you're passionately curious. They'll constantly be like, receive the projects and the workshops with an open mind. It doesn't matter if you're a yogi, doesn't matter if you're not feeling as fit as other people, or if you've got experience in the circus, or even if you have your own business project or not. Go with an open mind and that intention, and you'll thrive.
Yeah. So what do people usually leave with once they spend time with you?
Do you know how many times I've heard the phrase, I've never done that before? I've heard that so many times. I feel like, so people, 30 days, 28 days when they say you pick up a habit. So when people come in, you might not be noticing what's happening to you, but when you're meditating every day and you're doing yoga, and then you're talking about business in the afternoon, and then stopping to do something you're passionate about in late afternoon, after 20 days, or even 7 days, actually, if you do something continuously, you're going to keep doing it by yourself. So a lot of people are like, now I meditate every morning, or I do yoga, or I've kept going, like even the granola bowls,
that was a great one.
We have a breakfast that's just like epic. It's just like all fruits and like chia, and people have, and we're completely vegetarian, so people stop eating meat, actually, and it just changes their lives. So in that way, a lot of transformation, I would say.
Reading the feedback, it's always interesting because people will come for something and then their main benefit will be something totally different. And a lot of it does revolve around community. Again, it comes back to the people.
Yeah.
They'll just be like, I've never felt more accepted or more open or more comfortable. I've even had a lot of women, because we get such open-minded people that are there to train, that they didn't feel like there was any like negative attention in a way, or sexual thing. It was just everyone's there for a like-minded thing. It's not like you're going out to a bar or a club or a hostel where people are maybe having conversation with you for a different reason. People feel like everyone's there is present, and I feel like that's such a powerful thing, especially productive when you're training, when you're in a business workspace, to have people that are in that like-minded community sense. and
And I hear a sense of support as well. Like,
absolutely.
you know, if anyone needs help with something, it sounds like anyone would be there to help them out.
It's also like purposeful conversation. We have authentic relating, so we learn about how to ask real questions. And when you learn how to have these types of quality conversations, get rid of like how's the weather in your vocabulary, it transcends into every aspect of your life, whether it's like personal, romantic, professional. So really it's like transformational, but in various aspects of your life. Yeah.
It's really nice to touch on this topic of connection and networking, because you know every day on my Facebook feed I see, you know, like Mariah, who's just gone to New York, and she's like, "Hey, Momentom community, is anyone here? Like, I'd love to catch up with you." And you know, there's 10 people who are like sending us photos, and they're all in, you know, in New York together. So.